and we're live here on Monday Night Fredo, guys. Thank you guys all for tuning in here on this amazing show we're going to go ahead and have here, guys. I mean, it's been 2 weeks. Of course, last Monday, there was no Monday Night Fredo because there was a Game 5 of the NBA Finals, which was, at that time, it was pretty important. But at this time, it's not. Because I was thinking, hey, I'm going to come in today. It's Monday Night Fredo, Game 7 last night. Celtics take over. But okay, that wasn't the case. That was not the case. But in order for us to get to that, we're going to go ahead and talk a lot about basketball here today. And of course, for all of you guys that have been following me on social media, go ahead and follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Fredo Cervantes. I've been kind of, giving you guys the inside scoop of what's going to be going on here today. I do have a very special guest here on Monday Night Fredo, of course, for the people that have been watching my previous shows. He's been a guest on my shows. This is the first time we got the one and only, the Law Murray, coming from The Athletic, who covers the NBA and the LA Clippers, will be joining us here. We have a lot of interesting things to talk to him about because his new Kyrie Irving story comes out today, this morning, that Kyrie wants out of Brooklyn. Brooklyn does not want him back. What's going to happen with Kyrie? We're going to go ahead and talk to Mr. Murray about what's going to happen there. Again, of course, the Drew League. Everyone follow me know that the Drew League has been popping over the past few weeks. Mr. Murray has also been at the Drew League, so we're going to go ahead and talk about everything that's been going up this weekend. It's going to be a huge weekend at the Drew League. Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. It's going to be a 3-day event. We're going to go ahead and talk about that, and of course, the NBA Finals. I'm devastated about what happened. Not just devastated because the Celtics did not win, because a lot of people are giving me crap and saying, Fredo, you're not a real Laker fan. What are you doing cheering on for the Celtics to win? Hey, guys, take a chill pill. Hold it for a second. I was rooting for the best team that I thought was on the court. That was not the case. But one thing I do got to say about Stephen, the chef Curry, who likes to go ahead and go on the court and sizzle and do everything he does. Because after I saw Game 4 of the NBA Finals, I knew that Curry really had a grip on this NBA final series. But, is he really that good? Having 4 championships now in a little over 10 years? I mean, I know I want to ask Murray. I want to ask Money Mike about this. My quick thoughts before I do bring on Mr. Murray on here. I just want to say on Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry is a good player. He's a great shooter, maybe the best shooter of all time. A lot of people say that now. But is he the best player? Is he a top all-time player? I don't think he's a top 10 player of all time. I don't think so. You might think I'm crazy, but I may be crazier than you think. Why? Because Stephen Curry does not play any defense. Stephen Curry, yeah, he can get his teammates involved, but not like the great players like maybe LeBron James, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan was a better playmaker than Steph Curry. I heard something very stupid today and say, hey, Curry's better than Jordan. Wait a second. I mean, I say LeBron's better than Jordan. Jordan might be top 3, top 4 in my list. But Curry being above Jordan, that's just ridiculous. All right, that's just ridiculous. And right now, it's going to get pretty ridiculous because I'm going to have the one and only Money Mike join me and co-host a special Monday Night Fredo here on this beautiful Monday, guys. Again, it was Father's Day yesterday. I just want to say happy belated Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Of course, I'm a father of 2 amazing kids, Jaden and Dominic. Spent a great day with them yesterday. Great time with the family. Of course, I do want to just, before I get going right here, it was just something, it's just, I had 2 guys that I lost in the last 6-7 months. There were 2 great fathers, 1 family member, 1 best friend. And I lost 2 of those guys on the same day within 24 hours. It was maybe one of the worst days I've maybe experienced. But they were great fathers. I want to give a special shout out to Cruz, rest in peace, Cruz. He was an amazing father. He was in his 40s. He was a great friend of mine. And it was an unexpected loss. And, I had it. And, man, I don't even know what I can say about this man. This JR Garcia, man, he was a father of 4, Freddie, James, Johnny, and Anthony. And it really, that was really a hard day yesterday to go in and spend time with the family and see, that we are missing some very special people. So I just want to say, happy Father's Day to both of you 2 up there. I know you guys are having hella fun out there. And I'm going to go ahead and have hella fun here on Monday Night Fredo when we return. And we're live, guys, here on Monday Night Fredo. And, most of the time it's always me. And today's a very special show. Me and this man here, Money Mike from the Profanity Nation. Again, everyone, make sure y'all tune in every single Sunday night, 8:30 Pacific time. Follow the Profanity Nation. I mean, they got a great show. Always keep it real. This man right here keeps it too real. Got the one and only Money Mike. Money, welcome to the show.
Man, look, I'm happy to be here. I had to make an extra trip to come get my money again. We're going to talk about that a little bit later.
Yes.
Yes.
And we will talk a little bit about that later because I know we have a history of some great back and forth. But now,
I'm undefeated.
Yes, he is undefeated right now. And he is a LeBron hater. But we're going to
I'm LeBron realist.
You're LeBron realist. Okay, that's
I can't be a hater if what I said about him was correct.
Okay, well, we'll go ahead and ask Mr. Murray. I'm pretty sure he can maybe help us out with this argument here. We got the one and only Lawrence Murray from The Athletic, who covers the NBA and the LA Clippers. Mr. Murray, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Money Mike, nice to meet you, man. And I hope y'all enjoying this last day of spring that we have here.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, so Mr. Murray, man, how you been doing today, man? I know you were at the Drew over the weekend here. How's everything so far with you?
I mean, I'm good. I knew I was going to have a pretty noisy day with some things that was just going to come out tonight. I actually got ahead of it last week, but I got my rest. And that's how and we here right now. So that's where I'm at.
Yes, sir. Again, we got Lawrence Murray, who covers the Athletic, from the Athletic, who covers the NBA and the LA Clippers. So real quick, let's get down and dirty real quick, because once this morning we all turned up our phones, we saw reports, and it's coming from one of your colleagues, Shams Charania, who covers the Athletic as well, said that Brooklyn and Kyrie, the talks have stopped. There's nowhere else they can possibly go. Of course, Kyrie got till June 29th of this month to possibly opt in or opt out and become a possible free agent. Of course, you're saying the Lakers and Knicks and the LA Clippers are possible suitors for Kyrie Irving. What are your thoughts, and what do you think Kyrie can do possibly here in Los Angeles with the Clippers?
Well, my first thoughts are definitely read my article, because that is the first thing that I want everybody to understand. Like, I don't have any flash thoughts. I've been thinking about this before my guy Shams had the developments that were between the Nets and Kyrie. So obviously the Nets and Kyrie have to, that's an issue on that end of the conflict, right? Whether or not, whether Kyrie's got a lot of money in that player option, I would think that he's going to opt in and make this difficult. But Kyrie's got his version of leverage. When it comes to the Clippers, you can see without even clicking in that I said that the Clippers and Kyrie Irving is a union that on the surface doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Now, basketball-wise, in a vacuum, sure, Kyrie Irving is, the kind of talent that can transcend the team. And we saw that in the 2016 finals with the Cleveland Cavaliers. They got a ring. Tyronn Lue coached that team. Obviously, he's the head coach of the Clippers right now. With the Boston Celtics, that was a really good regular season team in the 2 seasons that Kyrie was there. But Kyrie didn't play in the first postseason, and the Celtics made it all the way to the conference finals without him and without Gordon Hayward. People might remember that. Actually, should have probably Golden State, Boston. We got that finals this year, but we probably should have gotten it in 2018. They had a 3-2 lead against a Cavaliers team that didn't have Kyrie either. Obviously, they had LeBron and Kevin Love and probably their weakest team
Clarkson.
of that era. And they found a way to find, that was a breakthrough for Ty Lue. That was one of the greatest accomplishments of a LeBron team, that they overcame that Celtics team, even though they didn't have Kyrie and Gordon. They were still understood to be the better team, right? And then in Brooklyn, let's just be real. The Brooklyn Nets, they got Kyrie Irving with Kevin Durant, and they've won a grand total of one playoff series with Kyrie. And unfortunately, Kyrie wasn't able to finish that postseason due to injury. But that's been the other issue with Kyrie. Like, you can say what you want about Kyrie and the extra stuff that comes with having Kyrie on your team, in your locker room, in your organization, whatever. I'm not really caught up in all that. The Clippers have a great culture, and Kyrie, for everything that you can say as far as Kyrie being a quote unquote distraction, Kyrie, he's a good dude who does great things for his community, et cetera, et cetera. So I ain't here to talk about all that. I'm here to talk about basketball fit, and I'm here to talk about the fact that Kyrie's durability has been an issue in his 20s, and guess what? Kyrie ain't in his 20s no more. So that's my concern. I keep it real basic. Everyone has their takes on what kind of dude Kyrie is. I ain't really talking about all that. I'm here to talk about the fact that Kyrie, adding Kyrie means you're taking somebody away. If it's one of the two stars, that doesn't sound like the way to do it. And if you're keeping the two stars and adding Kyrie and sacrificing the exceptional depth that you have, then we've seen some big threes. Brooklyn with Kyrie, damn it. And then in this market in LA, we just saw a big three fall flat on their face with dudes playing. With dudes playing more than the Clippers duo did all season long, and so we see that it's difficult. It's difficult to win with a big three if you don't have everything fall into place. So that's where I leave it.
What's interesting to me about the Clippers is that we knew Kyrie wasn't there all season, but they played to above what you
were. Kyrie's never been on the Clippers, so
I mean not Kyrie. I'm talking about Kawhi. I mean Kawhi. Yeah, Kawhi wasn't there, but they have played all year. And watching them a little bit because I'm a Laker fan, but they played above their potential. Like, if you would have started the beginning of the season and said how many games you think they're going to win, I would have never thought that they would have been playing as well, gelling as much. And I'm more interested into that. Like, I'm not really a name brand player. I'm more into putting players that know they role, so that way you could get the best out of them. I know, like, you didn't really want to get into the Kyrie thing in the sense of he's a really interesting dude. I actually kind of like the fact that he's outside the box. But do you think he'll disrupt the chemistry? Because I think that's the biggest thing that the Clippers had last year was the chemistry with the players.
Well, and that's kind of where I'm getting at. It's not that I don't think Kyrie's the type that just comes in and blows shit up right away, number one, or number two, like the thing with Kyrie is you got to have a strong group of guys around him. And I think the Clippers, they could still do what they got to do. I don't think it's an excuse to bring guys in. Like, take Reggie Jackson, for instance. People definitely had different thoughts on what kind of dude Reggie Jackson was, but Reggie Jackson is actually someone who transcends the culture on the Clippers. He's someone who brought a lot of guys together, being Paul George's best friend, being the kind of energetic personality that he is. That stuff can work both ways. So do I think he can? Yes. But what the Clippers have now, to your point, it was special. And it's something that developed because a group of guys were on that team and went through some adversity. They went through adversity in the bubble, and obviously they didn't handle that well at all. But they bounced back from that, buried that, and it took all season. People were like, they don't care about the Clippers until the playoffs. They go down 2-0 against the Mavericks, losing home games, going down 2-0. And people thought that their confirmation bias was about to be realized. But then the Clippers bounced back from that. bounced back from down 2-0 against the number 1 seed in the Western Utah Jazz, even with Kawhi tearing his ACL in the middle of that series. Like, that is an experience where there's some trust built there, and it made them a team that was better than they were supposed to be, especially when you consider not just Kawhi, but Paul missing 3 months. So I don't even look at it as, oh, Kyrie's going to mess up the Clippers. It's just a matter of the Clippers have not gotten to see what this team can do with all those guys in the same place healthy, as well as obviously they've developed some great chemistry with guys being out, with guys being in and out. And that is something where you will disrupt that, certainly, if you bring on Kyrie. Do they think it's worth it on the court? I'm not sure about that, because I've seen Kyrie Irving's team since 2016, really since he left LeBron in Cleveland. And that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, because that's what I wonder, though. Like, we haven't seen, a full, strength Clipper team. And, do they really, my question is, do we need, or do they need Kyrie as an additional piece? No, it's like, is that necessary? I think just as a whole around the league that a whole lot of teams just panic, and if they just have an opportunity to get a player sometime, then they go and jump and try to get that player when they hear that they're open. And I think sometimes you got to kind of stick with what you have and build off of that. That's just my opinion.
Well, and this is my last point on it, because I know y'all probably want to get to something else. Maybe, I don't know, Fredo, but the point guard, I'll say the point guard position is as, how can I say this diplomatically? It's a bit over discussed, and the Clippers kind of realized that over the last few years. Obviously, the takeaway at the end of the 2020 postseason, after they blew the 3-1 lead to the Nuggets, was, oh, they don't have basketball IQ. They don't have a point guard. They don't have someone who can settle them down. They heard that noise. And you talk about panic moves, or you talk about moves that probably were dictated by the narrative. That was one big reason why Lou Williams was traded to Atlanta for Rajon Rondo at the 2021 deadline. And I'm not going to sit here and say Rajon Rondo. I'm making a whole lot of points that, support the biz, what I'm saying? It's in the article, but Rajon Rondo, I'm not going to sit here and say he was a complete liability with the Clippers. He helped them win regular season games, and they don't make a game 3 comeback in Dallas without Rondo and Terrence Mann coming off the bench and helping them come back from a very early hole where they were down almost 20 points, staring a 3-0 deficit in the face. But the calendar flipped to June last year, and then Rondo was a liability, and you never heard from him again. He got sent off in a consolidation trade with another point guard, Pat Bev, to bring in Eric Bledsoe. Then at this trade deadline, they ship Bledsoe off, and they don't bring a point guard back. They do upgrade the talent overall with Norman Powell, Robert Covington, and they were like, maybe we'll get a buyout point guard, but we ain't tripping about it. No buyout point guard. And then they go into the playoffs with nothing extra at point guard. Why? Because the Clippers, they kind of came to the realization that who's going to have the ball in their hands anyway? Paul George, and when healthy Kawhi Leonard, and when on the damn team, Norman Powell. And you got a whole bunch of other dudes who need the ball too, like your actual starting point guard, Reggie Jackson, and your nominal backup point guard for right now, Terrence Mann, and you have a developing rookie in Jason Preston who didn't get the debut last year. So in other words, what are we talking about with the point guard position? Just a lot of, like, the Boston Celtics this year made the NBA Finals, and it was the first year they had Marcus Smart, but didn't have Rajon Rondo, Isaiah Thomas, Kyrie Irving, the guy we're talking about right now, and Kemba Walker. They had Dennis Schroeder for the first half of the year and was like, we'll trade him for a backup center that we're not even going to play. You know what I'm saying? And they make the finals this year. So people overreacting, being like, oh, they need a point guard because they turn the ball over. Nah, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown need to tighten their handle up. But they got to the NBA Finals with the setup that they have. So we overrate the point guard position. And it's something that the Clippers, maybe in 2021, they'd be like, shoot, we got to get a point guard. But in 2022, they realized that they don't, they have their point guards. Their point guards just happen to be their shooting guard and their small forward.
Yeah, that's how it seemed like. And personally, I think that Kyrie maybe not be a good fit with the Clippers, especially with Kawhi, Paul George, Powell and the other guys he just got. I feel like they got a pretty good group, and they might mess it up if they add a guy like Kyrie Irving, not because of his personality or anything off the court. It's just it's going to take the ball away from PG. The bench is going to get depleted. They're going to get traded for him. So whatever happens, hopefully we get some sort of drama coming up before the NBA draft, because the NBA draft, again, everyone, is this Thursday, 5:00 on ESPN. But what is the 2022 NBA draft? The team gets drafted. But talking about Kyrie and the Celtics, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the NBA Finals. I mean, what an NBA Finals series we had this year. I mean, a lot of people thought it may be going to go Warriors in 4 or 5, or it was 6, according to Mr. Money Mike here. But what was your personal opinion and your view on the whole NBA Finals? What do you think it was that it took enough? Because after the first 4 games, you kind of had a feeling like, okay, this might go back and forth till Game 7, but Game 4 was just like a headliner game for Stephen Curry, who he just went nuts. What do you think was the main problem for the Celtics that, they weren't able to, close the whole thing?
I mean, you said it, Stephen Curry. You know what I'm saying? Stephen Curry. He was the difference between the championship. It's that simple. Like, if the Celtics were dealing with a bad man, okay, the Celtics, I actually feel like they did a pretty decent job defensively. I mean, the offense is what let them down. In all the games the Celtics failed to score 100 points, they wound up losing. Unfortunately, that was 4 games. And that's what it takes in the playoff series. Well, here's the thing with the turnovers, because what turnovers do is it takes away opportunities for you to score. And what's ironic about that is the Warriors were the second worst team in the league during the regular season in turnover percentage. The Celtics were actually pretty average, slightly above average. Mm-hmm. So not great, not really good, but if you were grading it, you'd probably give it a C+, whereas you'd probably give the Warriors an F for how well they took care of the ball over the course of the regular season. The thing is, though, possessions killed Boston, especially in the second half of this series. They got beat on the glass, and they got beat by depth. And so Stephen Curry playing like Stephen Curry requires you to either, and again, the Celtics number 1 defense in the league, but the Warriors were the number 2 defense in the league. This was about defense, something that the NBA is still a league where you win with defense. We talk a lot about offense, but the Warriors were an outstanding defensive team. They've always been a great defensive team when they win championships. And Boston, after they got lit up by Steph Curry in Game 4, had to adjust with the series tied how they were playing Steph, like aggressively adjust. And they actually got some success out of it. Game 5, Steph missed every single 3-pointer he took. We never saw a playoff game like that before. But Boston did not take the blessing because guys like Andrew Wiggins went off, and because, again, Golden State had more playable guys, more playable lineups. And you are so worried about Steph that you kind of have to, you kind of lose track of other guys who can potentially go off. And then you compound that with the fact that Golden State's defense, one of the best things they do, they force turnovers. They had success defensively because guys like Tatum and Brown weren't as consistently good from a quarter-to-quarter basis as Steph was. So basically, it's like this. Steph wasn't, he was great. He was legendary in Game 4 with all that was facing him. Him being hurt, them being on the road, them being down in the fourth quarter, staring a 3-1 deficit in the face, all of that. Steph rose up and saved the Warriors season. And then
yes, he did.
Strength of numbers really meant something in Game 5 and in Game 6, whereas Boston, they were great actually with their starting 5, but you literally take one of those guys off the floor and it was a collapse. I think for the series, if I were to look it up, I'd have exact numbers, but take my word for it. For the series, I'm pretty sure Boston's starting 5 outscored the Warriors significantly in the series, but all other Boston lineups were outscored by the Warriors, and that changed the series.
Wow.
I mean, I think you made a whole lot of good points, but I have like a statement shirt there where like on my podcast I'm saying heart over talent. I think it's a little bit simpler. Just me just being a fan and what I was watching. I just think Golden State have been there before and the Celtics haven't. and just in the sense, like I'm the Celtics to me are a scary team. They just hadn't been there, and Warriors had been there, and they just figured it out, and were able just to take it home simply because they've been in that position before, and the Celtics haven't. Is it what you think about me just saying is just that simple? Like we have somebody been there, someone that's never really don't know what it means to actually go through that grind until they actually do it.
Well, that's honestly Golden State benefited from that before the finals. You know, um, I would say that it wasn't that big of a deal when you compare it to the quarterfinals going up against that Nuggets team, a Nuggets team that played the Warriors pretty well during the regular season, but obviously a different they had to deal with a different beast and everything. But starting in the semifinals against the Grizzlies, you saw that Golden State's poise was going to win them series. There wasn't a single time in the entire postseason that the Warriors had a game where they faced real elimination. I got to give the Celtics a lot of credit because how many times did they face elimination after sweeping the Nets? You know what I'm saying? Like the Milwaukee Bucks, the defending NBA champions, had a 3-2 lead. We can go with the championship narrative there too. Like they literally just won a championship, right? I don't care if they were shorthanded. They had a 3-2 lead. They had a chance to close it out at home. And Boston went into their building and forced a game 7 and then came home and hit more threes in a game 7 than we've ever seen before. Same thing. Again, the Eastern Conference Finals, the Miami Heat. They had just gone to the finals 2 years earlier, right? The Miami Heat did. They were the number 1 seed. They had home court advantage in a game 7. You thought Jimmy Butler ripped out the Celtics' hearts with that game 6 performance that he had. You're all thinking, all right, here we go. The Heat have been here and the Celtics have not, right? And the Celtics, they survived that game 7 on the Miami Heat's home floor. So the Warriors, yeah, they're a different beast, but the Warriors, they took advantage of a Grizzlies team that wasn't there. Also a Grizzlies team that wasn't at full strength. You know, you saw it when the Grizzlies beat the Warriors by, what was it? It was like close to 40, but they were up by 55 in that game 5. And Draymond Green is in the grindhouse doing whoop that trick and everything. That's how you knew they're an unbothered team. You know what I'm saying? They knew what they were going up against with the Mavericks, a team that hadn't won a single playoff series in a decade before they had the run that they had this year. Obviously, the Clippers had a lot to do with the Mavericks not getting past the first round the last few years, right? So the Warriors, they knew what they were going with. Didn't matter if they were down in the series. Didn't matter if they didn't close the series out on the road. It was a certain point. So to your point, yes, the Warriors took advantage of the fact that they know what they have been here before. But I gotta say that I don't think that was the exact reason that that decided it. It was decided on the floor, and the Warriors played like the Warriors, and the Celtics, they only sometimes played like the Celtics.
Okay, and again, for everyone watching, we got the one and only Lawrence Murray here from The Athletic, who covers the NBA and the LA Clippers. I do want to ask you real quick, Murray, because I know this weekend is going to be very, very interesting at the Drew League, of course, over there at King Drew. Just tell the people a little bit about the event. So, the Pro-Am teams are going to be coming in, checking everything out. It's going to be a 3-day weekend. It's going to be a crazy event. Just talk to us a little bit about what's going to be happening this weekend at the Drew.
Yeah, I'm excited. I've been covering the Drew in some capacity or another since the summer of 2014. You always look for new things happening to kind of keep it fresh. But what's happening, I've never seen before. I've never been a part of, as far as the Pro-Am Basketball Challenge. And you got 6 programs descending upon South Central Los Angeles to play a tournament, if you will. And that schedule actually just got released today. So 3 games on Friday, 3 games on Saturday, and then whoever has the best record and the best point differential will play for the championship of the tournament on Sunday afternoon at King Drew, which is the site of the Drew League. So you got Los Angeles with the Drew League. You have Baltimore's Brunson League. You have the Pro-Ams from Atlanta and Miami. You have the Rump Classic from Philadelphia, where I'm from, and then you have Dykeman, New York, and that's going to be the featured matchup for Saturday, the main event, if you will.
I saw that one on the schedule, and I was like, "Whoa, that's gonna be amazing."
Yeah, so it's going to be dope. The Drew hasn't had Friday night games yet, so you're going to have some Friday night games for the first time at King Drew this summer, and then this summer season. Again, shout out to everybody who respects the summer solstice, but then that Saturday is going to be great. So I don't know what these rosters are going to look like, especially from the Drew end of things, because they got the largest pool of players to pick from. That's the advantage of being home, but they also have the most issues as far as putting a roster together. So the guys who get to play, they better show up, man, because the whole city, they are really pushing the rep your city kind of thing here. So I'm not here to hype anything up. The games, just show up, man. Whoever's playing,
it's gonna be a great event. Hype it up right now, because everyone watching out there, you guys better show up out there at King Drew this week.
Yeah, this ain't no pickup game. Like, if you've been to the Drew before, like, these are dudes who's playing with some serious pride. Like, you don't casually walk into the Drew, you know what I'm saying? And if you do, you might get your ass embarrassed. So that's what I mean. Like, I'm not going to hype it up. I'm not going to tell you so-and-so's playing, they're going to play great. So-and-so might play and look horrible, and that's part of it. So I can't wait for the competition, but I'm not going to pretend like I know what's going to happen, who's going to play, how they're going to play. Because I'm excited for the scene more than anything else.
I did hear that apparently there's going to be more showings and more from NBA players this weekend. I'm not sure if it's correct or not, but I did see on Twitter there was a possibility of Trae Young. And I thought I heard Jaylen Brown, Trae Young, Jaylen Brown. Did you hear anything like that? Did you hear that?
I mean, there's a lot that I hear, man. But I'm pretty sure there's a famous quote out there saying, "Believe half of what you see and none of what you hear." So by that, I ain't hear shit.
There it is, Mr. Murray. All right, well, Mr. Moneybag, you got any last words for Mr. Murray?
No, man. Thanks a lot for coming on, man. You was great. I got a little bit more insight with the Clippers because I'm a Laker fan. But...
hey, Murray, give this man some crap right here, because this guy says he's a straight LeBron hater. He's a Laker fan and he's a LeBron hater. How is that even?
Well, that's why I'm disappointed. I remember where I was. I was in a room in Jersey, working a shift when Bron, had Clutch announced that he was going to the Lakers. So I was always a LeBron. I was always a LeBron fan. I'm always going to be a LeBron fan. But I also know that the pettiest of Lakers fans hated LeBron for the longest time. I guess they felt threatened because of LeBron's legacy versus Kobe's legacy. I'm just saying, like, there are some Lakers fans who are like, they appreciate basketball, and then there's some Lakers fans who they wish ill on LeBron's success. They were happy when 2011 finals went down.
That should be the definition for money, Mike.
Let's talk about first of all. But look, let me tell you, and Fredo,
I'm being objective here, by the way.
No, I got you. On air and off air, I've talked to Fredo many times. I say that LeBron is a great player. LeBron's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's not my flavor of a player, but I've not taken away from his greatness. How do I say? See, my thing about
you're confusing.
No. This is what I mean. My like I've given examples all year about what I don't like about or what I've seen, and I'll pick out certain games. Like if he scores 35 and has 0 fouls, and we lose by 20. I don't care about the 35 that he did. I'm not giving. I ain't hating. You know what I mean? I mean, that's my whole thing is I want you to be able to be on the court and be able to put the team on the back if you are what the narrative says, and be able to win some games. So when we're a game and a half out the playoffs and you come back from injury and it's 21 games left and he says that he's about to go in playoff mode. Okay, cool. I want to see playoff mode and I want to be able to make the playoffs. I mean, I'm just asking him to do what he asks, or what he says he's going to do. And when he doesn't do those things, I call him out on it. Then they call me a hater for it. So, I mean, is he a great player? Yes. Will he catch Kareem this year, next year? You know, in the next season coming up, absolutely. First ballot Hall of Famer, absolutely. But you know, that's what frustrates me. Like I just, you know, when
I think you're frustrated by the fact that the Lakers have been a really bad organization putting teams together for most of the last decade, except 1 year. I'm just saying,
listen,
we put LeBron on that pedestal, and LeBron every now and again he reminds us he's in year 19. That's what I saw this past year.
Yeah, but
they decided to have LeBron, AD, and Russ on the same team and try and make a decent roster out of it. Besides that, and surprised that it didn't work out. That's all.
Well, again, at the beginning of the season, I told Fredo I didn't think it was going to work because you know you basically gave 120 million to 3 players, so now you have to try to fill out a roster. But if we look at it historically, this is what this guy he did that in Miami, you know, and then
in his prime,
right?
With guys who made sense together,
right? You know, but he's notorious for going around putting these players together and then gutting them. And when he leaves to go somewhere else. I mean, I'm just stating the facts about what I've seen. Also, like you know, I've admit that he's a great player, but then people have to admit that when he leaves, he guts the team, and our team is kind of
ain't left yet. I'll tell you what, he's looking like he's going to stay with the Lakers for next season, and if he does, it means he would be with the Lakers longer than the Miami Heat, longer than his second stint with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I mean, again, they've had 1 out of 4 years where they wound up winning a playoff series. It's why I was disappointed when LeBron went to the Lakers, because I was like, the same people who hate this man, they're going to celebrate when they win, when he helps them win. But if he fails, and he has failed,
good point,
repeatedly, they're going to hold that against him too. And we've seen both. We've seen the Lakers take their victory lap from 2020, you know, and that was obviously the worst year ever for a lot of reasons.
It was the year.
But then outside of that, we've been criticizing LeBron for what the Lakers haven't been able to do. Like the Lakers weren't the worst team in basketball for 5 years before LeBron got there.
Well, right, but like I said, my whole thing was me personally, this is just my opinion, and you can tell me what you think about it. I would have preferred for us to wait a year and not trade for AD. That way we could have kind of kept our young people there. I think AD would have came off for free agency, and then we wouldn't have to cut the team. I also would say when we won the championship, I was the first one to thank LeBron for getting us that championship. But
I ain't hating.
Will you stop saying
keep rolling that? Keep rolling that.
But again, you know, when you're a Laker fan, you're used to like, you know, contending teams every year, and it definitely is very frustrating when you don't have that. And look, I can't blame AD. I can't blame LeBron for all that because you know we knew what the Carfax was on AD, and
that's a great way to put it. There's an AD tax that comes.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Like we knew what it was. So every time this guy fall, he get hurt for 3 weeks. You know?
Softest man in the league. I can say that right
now. Like right now, I'm not tripping about the reports of him not picking up basketball. I'm okay with that. But my question is, are you strengthening your legs, you know, to be able to hold that body? Are you exercising? Are you conditioning yourself to be in shape? That's what I need to know about AD, so that way we can go do a run. And I know, and I'm saying I know AD is talking. I'm sorry, LeBron is talking to AD about these things, like, you know, about how to, you know, teach your body.
LeBron went on social media the other day. He posted a video of AD highlights just to show people that, you know, he is there.
I know what he's capable of. I know what he's capable of, but I need him
to stay healthy.
I need him to stay healthy. Like if you look at Steph Curry, you know, he had all those ankle injuries, and they had to go and figure it out. They realized it was his knees and his thighs that were really causing the ankle, right? Like
that reminds me, Fredo, you said some stuff about Steph that I'm going to just say one time. That man Steph can play defense, man. Number 2 defense in the league. He bulked up. You can't hunt Steph Curry like you used to.
True.
He fights. He competes. He forces turnovers. You saw the finals. Like that man is a
He
two-way
stepped up.
player
He
at this
stepped up
stage
to
of
a
his
level
career,
that I
which
didn't
is
think he
really
was
great.
capable of doing.
Man, I don't know what you're talking about.
No, because
man.
I told Money Mike before we came on today. I told him like, hey, I can give him credit for 2 rings. I cannot give him credit for 4 because the other one's for KD. If it wasn't for KD, KD was a Finals MVP. Hit the big shots in both series.
I'm not rocking
back-to-back
with
years. I got to see more than just this for Stephen Curry. That's just my case.
Hey, if you say that, let's put it this way: Stephen Curry is at the same place in his career that Kobe Bryant was when he got his first Finals MVP. So if you say KD is to Steph what Shaq was to Kobe, then I think you'll get a lot more people that can relate.
All right,
man. Look, I mean, listen.
Okay, give him your last thing because we do got to get going. Here,
I know we got to go, man.
Yeah.
But like, look, I know, and I was because KD put a tweet out and said that they,
high level of basketball being played right now.
Yeah, but I mean, he said what he say that they needed him for those 2 rings, and I think that is
he also probably, LeBron in 2016.
I feel that KD extended the career of Curry and Clay because they didn't have to work as hard to be able to get it. But
true.
I mean, when you come to a 73-9 team, you kind of pretty much have all you need. And KD definitely helped it, in there he was on the team. But I definitely think that the Warriors would have been able to win without KD.
Don't think so.
Yeah, we'll never know, and that's why that's the most controversial part of Golden State's, if you want to call it a dynasty. I call it a dynasty. They've got 4 chips in 8 years.
I mean, they got 10 years together.
Yeah, like that's the most controversial part of it. But the reality is, you got to give the Warriors credit for having a kind of culture where KD would not just want to be there, but thrive there. Again, we just saw KD in another ecosystem where they were supposed to have built-in success and a whole lot of crap that came with it, and they got none of the success with what he's dealing with in Brooklyn right now. So I like championships are hard. That's why I don't take away even the Lakers in 2020 in the bubble. I don't take that away from anybody. It's funny because back when the Spurs won their first chip back in '99, Phil Jackson becomes the Lakers head coach, and he shits on the Spurs title, says there should be an asterisk. You never heard people talk about asterisks and championships until Phil Jackson started to diss the Spurs and their one title that they won. Turns out that Spurs titles was legit because they wound up winning a few more of them championships.
Four more, right?
In the 21st century. So winning the title is hard. A whole bunch of things can happen. You saw it happen in 2019. Multiple devastating injuries in that final series alone. But I don't take nothing away from the Raptors, because if you watch those regular season games between the Raptors and the Warriors, you knew the Raptors were going to have something different than they had been presented by any of the opponents that they ever faced before and really since in the playoffs. So, any way you want to look at it, you can say things are controversial. You can say that they gamed the system a little bit. I mean, I think championships are hard as hell to win. You saw what it took out of the Warriors at the end of their run. They were literally the worst team in basketball 2 years ago right now. They were the only lost team in a season interrupted by coronavirus, for crying out loud. We saw them fail again last year. They were like the Clippers this year. They had the AC going into the play-in, and they lost 2 games to clinch a playoff spot, and so the Warriors, they had a roster that makes it hard to appreciate them, and I get that. There's been a lot of teams like that. You can talk about the Lakers in the 80s. I mean, no one ever talks about the Lakers in the 80s as a team that gamed the system because free agency was different then. It's not like you had big time free agents. Magic used to talk about, I would have never teamed up with Larry Bird. But Magic didn't have to, because when Magic came out in 1979, the Lakers only had the number 1 pick because the Utah Jazz foolishly signed Gail Goodrich earlier in the decade. And back then, the compensation rules were you get a first round pick. It's like restricted free agency now, but back then it was you sign a veteran, so you have to give up a first-round pick in a later year. It just so turned out that year was 1979 when the Jazz were the worst team in the league and were in a coin flip, and the Lakers were coming off a conference finals. They get the number 1 pick. Magic's like, oh, shoot, I'm going to play with Kareem. You know what I'm saying? And then 3 years later, a really bad trade is made, and we're talking about a Cleveland Cavaliers team that had worst team in the league, but they didn't get the number 1 pick. It went to a Lakers team in 1982 that, again, just won a championship. They get James Worthy. You ain't got to leave when you literally coming into a team with that much fortune. Same thing with the Bulls in the 80s. The way how they get Pippen and Grant when they were in the playoffs, 2 lottery talents, because they made some trades that you will not see in the 21st century. So it's tough, but you still got to win them.
A lot of things were different out there, but one thing that's definitely going to be different is going to be the next season. What's going to happen? NBA season is going to be very, very interesting.
People going to be in their feelings next season. That's what's going to happen next season.
Right, man. So again, everyone watching, we got Lawrence Murray from The Athletic, who covers the NBA and the LA Clippers. Mr. Murray, any last words you want to go ahead and say to the people and to us?
Yeah, man. Every time I go on one of these, I tell, shout out to The Athletic, put me on, let me do this thing where I get to cover a really good team with some expectations. Y'all wanted to talk to me about the Clippers, so shout out to The Athletic for giving me a platform to cover that team. And that's about it. Just, enjoy the draft. A lot of these dudes ain't going to be on these same teams 5 years from now.
Yeah.
True. Very, very, very true. Again, follow Law Murray, the NU on Instagram. Of course, he's right here, right in front of the screen. You can go ahead and follow him on Instagram and Twitter. He's gonna be bringing you all the latest coverage. And of course, he did mention earlier in the beginning that he has a new story coming out here. When's that going to be released? Is that going to be tonight, tomorrow?
Oh yeah, I didn't talk about the story that's going to go up tomorrow. It'll be up. I talked about the story that's already out. So
that's already out.
There's a whole lot of, in case you missed it. So I've been putting in work. Give me some of that payback.
Yeah, I'm gonna go check that out.
Yeah, check it out now, guys. So go ahead and follow Law Murray there on Twitter and Instagram. He's always bringing everything. And of course, if you're going to catch the Drew League this weekend, it's going to be a great weekend. Of course, you're going to catch myself and Mr. Murray there. And Money Mike, when are you going to make it down to the Drew League?
Man, next week, I'm going to be in. Well, I can't go this weekend. I'm going to be in out of town. But 4th of July weekend, I should be able to be.
All right, cool.
I definitely got to go check it out.
Wonderful. Well, Mr. Murray, again, man, thank you again for stopping by here on Monday Night Fredo. I appreciate it. And we'll be in touch very soon, okay?
Hey, man, take care of yourself, Fredo.
All right, Murray.
Thank you, man.
Nice to meet you, brother.
Hey, nice to meet you, man.
All right, guys. When we come back real quick.
Yeah, I got to get my money right quick.
We're going to go one-on-one because we're going overtime on this.
Yeah, we got to get my money right quick.
Yeah, but we'll be right back on Monday Night Fredo. Okay.
Profanity Nation. A podcast for the fans, by the fans. Dive deep into the topics the other shows miss. Raw and uncensored.
And he's going to play team ball. His legacy is at stake.
Rare, hard-hitting interviews with players, coaches, and you, the super fans.
I'm not hating. I'm like, okay, cool. Good.
3 championships in 5 years. He's more than good, bro.
Profanity Nation. Listen live or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Powered by Jesse Brown of Keller Williams.
And we're back here on Monday Night Fredo. Myself, Fredo Cervantes.
Where's my money?
And hold on, let me get through this.
No, where's my money? We gotta go. We got
Money Mike from the Profanity Nation. Now we're gonna wait here. Now I'm gonna make you wait a little longer because let's review real quick.
Let's make it rain. We ain't gonna make it rain.
We're not gonna make it rain right now. We're
man,
gonna
what's going on?
Quick little review. Of course, everyone, we made a bet about a month and a half ago about the Lakers possibly making it to the NBA playoffs, or at least a play-in. I fell apart. I don't know what it was. LeBron didn't just show up. Westbrook was there doing his thing. And the Lakers did not make the NBA play-in tournament or the playoffs. So I did lose a bet. And a few weeks ago, I came on the Profanity Nation podcast when we had Solomon Hughes, who played Kareem on Winning Time. And I made a bet with Money Mike. I'm like, you know what, Money Mike? Right before game 1 of the NBA Finals, I feel it. And I guarantee you that the Boston Celtics are going to take down the Golden State Warriors. And it seemed like it after game 1. After game 1, it seemed like, okay, they got him. After game 2, it just seemed like, okay, well, Warriors won 1.
Man, you talking too much, man.
I'm talking too much, but I'm trying to explain to people that this was just not an easy bet for Money Mike, which he's going to make it seem like, okay, he was right, 2-0. Okay, he was right.
Here's the bottom line. I say things that everybody think is crazy, right? When I said the Lakers weren't gonna make the playoffs,
I ain't hating.
Everybody said I was crazy, but I was right. When I said well,
some people didn't think you were crazy. Some people actually knew that the Lakers were gonna at least make it.
I mean, we had Trevor Lane. Trevor Lane said he did not see the teams below the Lakers losing that many games or winning that many games to that they will fall out the playoffs. Right. I was the only one that was right. Follow my lead, Fredo. All right. Look, I guarantee.
Whatever, money.
I want to make it. I want to make sure everybody knows. Everybody was picking on the Celtics because everybody's watching all that, the network, ESPN and listening to Fredo. I said
listen to me.
I said Warriors, right? Still listen to him, but listen to me when I tell him to say something to do what it should be, right? Listen, I was so confident. Get this, make sure. I was so confident. I said if it goes 7, I lose. What happened, Fredo?
True. And you were pretty close. You were pretty close.
I was never close.
But I'm pretty sure
I was never close.
I'm pretty sure you were a little shaky after game 4. 2-2 tie. 2-2.
Listen, after game 3, I said they figured it out. It's over.
Okay. Well, right now we're all going to figure it out. And
make it rain.
Of course, I'm gonna make it rain electronically. We are in 2022. This is not 1990 right
Why
here.
you cash
This is not 1990 where we're just gonna mess with cash. This is 2022.
Man,
now we got electronico. Now I'm gonna make it rain on this nice iPhone in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and go into my application. We're 53 minutes into the show right now.
Oh yeah, sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. This is Infanity Studios live from Los Angeles. So let's go ahead and do it. Money Mike, check your phone.
Man,
check your phone. I'm done with it.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I only no. Hold on. I only got $100.
Well, wait. Did you guys all?
No. How much you sent me last time? You sent me 101, right? Because that was one. Because you lost one bet. Now you lost 2 bets.
I gotta pay taxes.
Give my $2. Give my $2.
So you need $2 for
I need $2
wins?
because he lost 2 bets. Okay. Right? So next time I bet him, he gonna give me $3 because he lost 3 bets. Give my $2.
I'm gonna make it rain on you. I'm gonna make it rain on you.
Yeah. Give my $2. I want that. You know how much gas prices is? All right.
There it is.
There you go.
Make it rain on Money Mike. I got my $2. There it is. Give my money back.
Each dollar represents the amount of bets he lose.
Look at it. Take that. Take that for data.
Tune in next week.
Tune in
next week. We'll have another bet, and then it'll be his 3rd bet he's going to lose.
We'll see. But again, don't forget to catch Money Mike, Jeff, and Stat Pat on the Profanity Nation every Sunday night, 8:30 Pacific, only on the Profanity Nation podcast on YouTube. Again, guys, stay tuned. Next Monday night Fredo, what's going to happen throughout this week? June 29th is next week, which is a deadline. Opt in. Kyrie, Laker, Nick, Clipper. Who knows what's going to happen? We'll see. Stay tuned. We'll be seeing you soon.